What's up, guys? You read the title, you've seen that thumbnail. Today we're talking about these guys, the Air Jordan 4 Oregon player exclusive, the Duckmans. Now this is a super interesting pair. It's a personal favorite of mine. In my sneaker collection, I really love the pairs that are unreleased or sample colorways, friends and family, stuff like that. I just love the interesting stories and the nature of sneakers of that variety. And these are no different. This pair ticks all of the boxes of a sneaker that I really like. It's got good quality materials. It's decently comfortable. Of course, Jordan 4s aren't the most comfortable, but they get by. They're a decent colorway, and they're not too annoying if I wear them with any old outfit. And of course, if they have an interesting story behind them, whether that be the designer or the design or where they originate from. I like my pairs to have an interesting background about them, And that's why I really love these joints. They tick all of those boxes. So about this pair, that interesting story going behind it, like I mentioned, it's a bit of a simple one. These are the Oregon University player exclusive Jordan 4s. These were from Jordan, and Tinker Hatfield went through with this design on them, sort of a play on the white cement, I believe. And they were given out to the players on the basketball team of that year, 2013. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the story. Player exclusive pairs for athletes at colleges and stuff don't really have a crazy story behind them. They tend to just be a colorway relating to the school or the team, and that's about it. Now there are a couple of other different Oregon sneakers, a couple of Jordan 4s. Aside from this one, there is a black pair that has metallic green hits on it. When it comes to the 4s, I definitely prefer these joints. There are a couple of 3s that I like, a play on a white cement type pair, and then there is a black cement type pair as well. There's even a 5, I believe. And I know quite recently there was actually a Dunk Low, and there was an Air Max 1. But all of these pairs have odd quirks and bits of their design that make me not really want to wear them. Like, if I don't feel confident that I'll wear a sneaker regularly, I'm not going to bother adding it to my collection. And so I passed on most of those until I came across these guys. I came across this pair used, and I picked it up for a good price. And although I do wear these guys sparingly, seeing that they're all white, I don't want to get them that dirty if it's gross out living up here in New England. I love rocking these guys on special occasions, and I really can because of their pretty simple colorway. I can wear them with any neutral fit and they'll fit right in. So enough of me rambling. I want to talk about the actual details of this shoe because at first glance it's pretty simple, but there's a lot of special little things that make this pair special. First, talking about the sole, it is just a regular Air Jordan 4. The outsole is completely yellow. Starting up at the very top, there's the stars that are nice and grippy. Then you have the regular 4-foot herringbone traction pattern. On the midfoot, there is a little Air Jordan logo. Underneath, it's in kind of a green color that matches the accent green that's on the side of the sole. And then the back, again, regular Jordan herringbone traction pattern. It's just a regular Jordan 4 outsole. Then moving up to the midsole, again, it is just a regular Jordan 4 midsole, but it's got some special little bits that make it a bit more interesting than usual. Up towards the toe, it's the regular textured pattern of the midsole in this deep Oregon forest green, with the stitching matching as well, I should note. Then on this little bump that's right on the outside of your toes, we have this speckled pattern, and this speckling pattern continues on many parts of the shoe as well. And then there's little specks of, I would presume, black. Kind of reminds me of the Lobster SB Dunks that have that speckling on some panels of them. Continuing to the next part of the sole, right at the side of the foot, it's the regular texture that's on this area of the Jordan 4 sole. And then rounding out the back, the piece with the air bubble on it continues to have that speckled pattern on it, just like that little bit at the middle of the sole. As we move up to the sneaker, we get to the most boring part, which is the upper. It's all completely made up of this slightly tumbled but pretty smooth white leather, and that's it. Literally every panel on the whole upper is smooth white leather. At the front of the shoe, the toe guard, the panel that goes along the side of the toe box, is that pretty smooth but slightly tumbled leather. It's nice and soft. That goes on top of the toe as well. And I really can compliment, they are nice and soft. Wearing these a whole bunch of times, I've had no complaints of my toes getting pinched under stiff leather. That has happened in the past with some other pairs of 4s, but that doesn't happen here. They're nice and soft. This white leather continues up the lace eyelets, around the side of the shoe, around the side of your ankle area, and even the back tab is made of white leather, although it has some extra details on it that differentiate it, but it is leather, not the usual plastic. I thought I was going to kind of hate that, but I do got to admit, I kind of love the back heel tab made out of leather, because this bit that pokes up out of the shoe, kind of being like a pull tab to pull it on, it being nice and pliable leather, makes it not stab into your Achilles ever. And the leather even continues up onto the tongue. The top of the tongue is made out of this same exact white leather. I love the execution done on these with just the one material all over, same color. It's executed fantastically with the little accent details to bring a little color, a little liveliness, but the base of the shoe is just flat and plain. I feel like that works fantastically on 4s, and it's fantastic on these, I gotta say. Very often you'll see on 4s, like the toe guard, the bit that goes around the side of the toe box is made out of like a rougher suede, and that kind of breaks up the upper a little bit, but with it just all being completely plain on this pair, I really love it. Now with details on the shoe, I know I've been saying it a bunch, we got past the boring plain monochrome upper. Now let's look at those fun, interesting details on the upper. We already looked at it a little bit, but the heel tab has got a lot. As I said before, it's made out of leather, not the usual plastic, and this makes it nice and soft and pliable, so it's not going to hit your heel or your Achilles or anything. But it still has that texture on the top part that you would use as a pull tab, you know, still keeping the original design language of the regular Jordan 4 that's made out of plastic, you know, keeping it the same. Obviously, there is a big difference, and that is that we have the Duckman instead of the Jumpman. It's the mascot of the Oregon Ducks used in the same Air Jordan pose, and it's embroidered in this metallic reflective green stitching with a little Oregon O right in the middle of the Duckman's chest. I think this is absolutely beautiful. I love embroidery on any clothing, especially the sneakers, and it's executed fantastically on this. The stitching looks great. And alongside that, the white leather actually does have that same speckled print, like I mentioned, is from the Lobsters and was used on the sole. This time, because it's on the white leather, it's done in a gray, not a black, so it doesn't contrast as hard. And I think it's really nice. It differentiates the heel tab a little bit, with it still being nice and cohesive with the rest of the shoe. Continuing the speckled pattern, the last part on the shoe that has that is the wings that come up from the side of the shoe, from where your heel is dug in. The lower part on this is the same color green from the sole with that same speckled pattern. And I really like this, having a little bit more green on the upper. And then the top part of this that you weave the laces through is bright yellow, matches the color of the outsole. And I really like that this was used as the accent color and it excluded the heel tab. It's just enough color to make it pop, but it's not quite enough to be obnoxious. You know, they did the differentiation with the speckling on the heel tab, and I'm really glad that it's not also another accent color. It's just enough to elevate it, but not enough to be obnoxious. I should mention, alongside these lace eyelets, the netting that is on the outside of the sneaker as well as on the tongue is plain white, obviously, that matches the color of that white leather, but underneath it is more of that dark forest Oregon green. It looks a lot darker from afar, but if I zoom in really close, you can see that it is that same forest green color to match. And the biggest and most prominent detail that you've been looking at this whole time is the big Oregon O on the tongue instead of the Air Jordan patch that's usually on there. The O is embroidered. There's a hole cut out in the tongue, and the O is embroidered onto another piece of leather, and it's recessed into the tongue. Again, like I said, I love embroidery. It's just like a cherry on top to me. I think it would have been a little bit of a disappointment if it was just like a decal glued on there or something. This is the same metallic, shiny, reflective green stitching that we had on the Duckman on the back, and it's up on the top of the tongue here. Again, all the stitches are nicely in line. It looks gorgeous. It differentiates it the most from a regular pair of 4s, having that, especially because it contrasts with the white so much. Something I love about this pair is that it has a black inner sock liner instead of a white, keeping the same whole color scheme and, matching regular pairs like the white cement 4s. The black sock liner makes it look really cohesive, because I'm a boring guy. I've just got 20 pairs of the same socks and they're all black. So having the black sock liner actually break up the upper, and it kind of makes it feel more cohesive onto my foot. Because again, it contrasts, but because I'm wearing black socks, it like flows into my foot, into my leg. Also on the inside of the sock liner, of course on the tongue, we've got the Air Jordan patch that's upside down. It just says Air Jordan. It's black with yellow writing on my pair here. And unfortunately, the little size tag label has rubbed off because it's one that's stuck to the inner sock liner instead of it being a little tag that's hanging. So can't give you all the details about that. As it goes for wearing them, like I've said, this leather that makes up the whole upper is super soft and comfortable. For a regular day's wear, going to work or going to run errands or whatever, they're more than comfortable. Retro Jordans, of course, aren't nothing spectacular when it comes to comfort. There isn't an inch of boost foam under your foot, but they get the job done if it's just a regular day. And that's where it comes for underfoot comfort. When it comes to on top of the foot, these are as good as it gets for Jordan 4s. Because this leather is so nice and soft, it doesn't pinch my toes at all. It fits perfectly. When it comes to fit, they're just a normal Jordan 4, so they fit exactly the same. I've always gotten a size 11 men's or 45 euro in my Jordan 4s, and they've all fit me exactly the same. So if you're wondering about that, no worries. I can't stress enough how much I really like this pair. It's a perfect, medium level of having those flashy details, the splatter print on the sole and the wings, the embroidered Duckman on the heel, and the big embroidered Oregon O on the tongue. But then it's nice and mellow with it being primarily all plain white, and the highlight colors aren't that crazy. With the forest green is a common enough color, and there's very little yellow. It's not obnoxious at all. I love how wearable it is with regular daily clothes. I can throw on a white t-shirt and a pair of shorts and I'm looking good. I wear them just the same as I would, my pair of white cement 3s and 4s, Leave a comment letting me know what you guys think of this pair. I really love them, and I'd love to know what you think. See you in the next one. Adios.